Did you know that in 1950, something fascinating happened? Senator Joseph McCarthy claimed that he had a list of communists working within the U.S. government. He used the appeal to force by exploiting the fear of communism to gain political power and influence. McCarthy's tactics involved threatening people's careers and reputations if they didn't support his cause or if they were suspected of being communists. This infamous period in American history, known as McCarthyism, showcases the subtle use of the appeal to force to manipulate public opinion and control people. The appeal to force, as you've just seen, can be employed in more subtle ways, without people necessarily noticing. It's a type of logical fallacy where someone tries to persuade others by using threats, coercion, or manipulation. Hey rational rebels! Welcome to the arena of reason, the very place we train our minds to spot cognitive pitfalls. This is Chris from Critical Conditioning, where we strive for cognitive precision and free our minds from that mental prison. Today, we're exploring the appeal to force fallacy, a fallacy where arguments are backed by threats or intimidation. We'll delve into the psychology behind this fallacy and how it can impact our ability to reason critically in the face of threats and intimidation. Before we delve into this intriguing topic, remember to hit that like button, subscribe to our channel, and ring the notification bell to stay updated with our mind-strengthening content. If you find our podcast valuable, consider supporting us through PayPal using the link in the description. Your support helps us continue our mission of promoting rational thinking. Also, please share this episode with someone you know who might be interested in understanding the appeal to force fallacy. Supercharge your mind, hit subscribe, don't be left behind. Let's get started. So, let's explore some studies about the appeal to force and then dive into some real-world examples. The first study we'll discuss was conducted by researchers at Cornell University. They analyzed how people respond to the appeal to force when it's disguised as a more acceptable form of persuasion. The researchers found that when the threat is presented indirectly, people are less likely to recognize it as an appeal to force, making it more effective. A second study from the University of Pennsylvania examined the role of emotions in the appeal to force. They discovered that when people feel threatened, they're more likely to comply with the demands of the person making the threat. This shows that the appeal to force can be very effective when it taps into our emotions, especially fear. Now, let's quickly go through 7 real-world examples of the appeal to force that everyone knows. After this we will take a look at 7 examples where the same manipulation is used but in a more subtle way. Here are 7 obvious ones. 1. In playgrounds and schools, bullies often use threats and violence to force their victims to comply with their demands. 2. During labor disputes, employers might threaten workers with job loss or reduced wages if they don't accept certain terms. 3. In politics, politicians might use the threat of military force to get other countries to comply with their demands. 4. Abusive partners might use the appeal to force to control their partners by threatening physical harm or emotional manipulation. 5. Gangs and organized crime syndicates often use force to keep their members in line and to maintain control over their territories. 6. In cults, leaders might use threats of punishment or ostracism to keep members obedient and committed to their cause. 7. Historically, slave masters used force and the threat of violence to keep slaves submissive and obedient. Now, let's take a look at some brief real-world examples of the appeal to force being used more subtly. 1. In workplaces, managers might imply that employees' job security is at risk if they don't comply with certain demands or support specific decisions. 2. Advertisements sometimes use the fear of missing out to pressure consumers into purchasing products or services, like limited-time offers or exclusive deals. 3. Sports coaches might threaten to bench players who don't follow their game plan or adhere to their coaching style. 4. In social circles, people often use gossip to pressure others into conforming to the group's norms. 5. Some religious leaders often use the fear of divine punishment or social ostracism to keep followers loyal and obedient. 6. Parents might subtly threaten to withhold love or support if their children don't follow their desired path in life. 7. Celebrities might use their influence to pressure fans into adopting their political views, supporting their causes or buying their products, implying that true fans would do so. Now that we've explored some examples, let's discuss individual differences that make certain people more susceptible to the appeal to force. Research suggests that those with lower self-esteem, higher levels of anxiety, and a higher need for social approval are more likely to fall victim to the appeal to force. Furthermore, individuals with lower levels of education may be more vulnerable, as they might lack the critical thinking skills necessary to recognize and resist this type of manipulation. To help you spot the appeal to force and avoid falling victim to it, let's go over a few tips. First, be aware of situations where someone is using subtle threats or manipulation to get their way. If you notice that someone is trying to persuade you by tapping into your emotions or implying negative consequences, that's a red flag that the appeal to force is in play. Second, focus on the merits of the argument itself. If the argument cannot stand on its own, the use of force or manipulation is likely just a tactic to sway you. To avoid falling victim to the appeal to force, develop your critical thinking skills. Question the logic behind arguments and be aware of common logical fallacies. Building your self-esteem and confidence will also help, as it makes it more difficult for others to manipulate you through fear or intimidation. Cultivating a strong support network can also be beneficial, as it can provide you with the emotional support and resources necessary to stand up against the appeal to force. In conclusion, the appeal to force is a powerful and manipulative tactic used to persuade others through threats, coercion, or manipulation. It can be employed in both obvious and subtle ways, making it even more important to stay vigilant and develop the skills to recognize it. By understanding how the appeal to force works, being aware of individual differences that make some people more susceptible to it, and honing your critical thinking skills, you can better protect yourself from this deceptive form of persuasion. Remember, always question the validity of arguments, especially when they involve force, threats, or manipulation, and trust your instincts when something doesn't feel quite right. Stay aware and stay safe. So, rational rebels, what are your thoughts on this fallacy? Have you or someone you know experienced a similar situation? Share your perspective with the community and in the comments below. Your support is incredibly valuable to us. If you can, please consider making a donation through the PayPal link in the description. Every contribution helps us continue creating content that promotes critical thinking. Thank you for being a part of our mission. Keep your mind sharp, raise your banner with a like, enlist and subscribe to become a rational rebel alike, avoiding all the pitfalls that may come your way. This is Chris from Critical Conditioning, signing off for today.